Hi.
Hi. So we just had an amazing, where's the camera over there? Lovemaking experience, and we want to talk about what we did and some realizations we had.
Mm-hmm. So we started off with sitting down face to face and just eye gazing. And it's a nice, easy way to start because it doesn't require you to do very much. You can just sit there and look at each other. And, maybe if I'm not even feeling good, I, I'm feeling angry or something, I can still sit there and just be angry, but at least we're there connecting.
Yeah.
So we started with eye gazing.
And then took our hands to our heart and said, I am here.
And to me, that greeting is a declaration of presence, that I am now committed to being here with you.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm, maybe thoughts will still come, but that I am committed to letting those thoughts go and to be here with you so that we can have this sacred moment.
So then we cleansed each other's auras really quickly. We didn't get up and make it fancy. We just did it sitting, so front and side, and then on the back I just kind of imagined. And we did that to each other.
Yeah, and then
Which felt nice.
Yeah, that felt good. And then I think we were going to do a breathing practice. Was there anything in between that?
No, and then we did the throwing out.
Yes, okay, that was a good one.
And then we were gonna do the breathing.
Yeah. So what we did is we're sitting face to face, and then if the center between us is a metaphor for our relationship, we're taking out and pulling anything out, throwing it away what we don't want. So, for example, self-doubt. So I'm saying self-doubt.
And I threw out, say, overthinking or the to-do list. And sometimes we repeat what the other one said to just feel it in ourselves as well.
Like she said, to-do list. And so I'm like, to-do list. I don't want that right now.
Mm-hmm. And then we pull in what we want, and that was love and connection and more authenticity and
playfulness.
And
whatever in the moment we're feeling like we want more of in the relationship. And then I just felt like jumping on her. So I kind of gently tackled her down onto the bed.
It was pretty strong, but I liked it. And it started humping me, and we had clothes on, so it was just really fun and sort of animalistic. And so there's a whole backstory that I'm not sure if we want to go into in this video.
You can go into it a little bit if you want.
Just a really
whatever's relevant.
Really quick. Okay. For almost 2 years now, we've had a daughter, and we haven't been having much sex. And anyways, this is day 4 of our challenge of 5 days to make love every day. Day 4. And so, that's all I'm going to say right now for the backstory. But basically that, interesting, right? Day 4. So we've already been making love for 3 days, the past 3 days, which is the first time since we've had our daughter, or since even I was pregnant, because my pregnancy wasn't that fun and all kinds of things. So it's been a long time for us since we were that honeymoon phase, and we're I'm feeling it. It's bad. I'm feeling that again. I'm feeling that feeling of honeymoon phase, that feeling of being in love with you, that feeling of just curling up and melting and wanting to receive your love and give love. And so anyway, and then, okay, one more piece I'm going to say. So during the birth of my daughter, our daughter, I had, one of my big lessons was not standing up for myself, and what the visual for me was that I didn't release my inner animal, and it wasn't saying what I need and what I don't need and get away from me, and that power, that animal rage power, but also the beautiful part of it, right? The ability to just know who I am and know what I want. So I feel that has really impacted me on a lot of levels, emotionally and psychologically and everything. And about a month and a half ago, about a month and a half ago, I had a bit of an emotional release around this subject exactly, and I started to have a punching pillow, emotional release, cathartic session. And in that session, I didn't feel like I finished. I didn't feel like I fully finished yelling and screaming the things I needed to, and which was just sound. Rah! And so he jumped on me. We're getting this animal kind of feeling, right? And then I'm like, hey, let's like get our clothes off, and now we're naked, and we start making love, and like, oh, and so right before we start making love, it was like anything kind of animalistic, so like passionate kissing and really like
grabbing,
tugging on each other and grabbing each other, yeah, and so which is very unlike our normal usual love
generally
making,
pretty
like,
soft and
tantric and like breath and like really slow. So
you were saying that because we went to that place that we haven't gone to and really got into the animalistic, that like I was letting my animal out, being rough with you, and that you were saying that gave you permission.
Yeah, it felt like it gave me permission, and then I had a flashback. So then I think first I started making sounds like bringing it up to my heart, because we practice tantric stuff, and so when we feel buildup of energy in our sexual organ, we want to bring it up, right? We don't want to release it. So I was feeling like buildup energy, like pleasure, right? So then I was like, ha, like the heart, and then that started to like feel like I need to let different sounds out, and like, because we normally always make sounds during lovemaking, it's just so healing and moves energy. But I got to a different place, and did you feel it right away? Like I was like started to yell, like almost like, So then we're having a faster pace, which is different again than usual, and that allowed me to like kind of get into that like rawr, animal part of me and still bring the sound up, and it just felt. Yeah, it felt like you were giving me permission by your animalistic ways to let me get in touch with that part of me. And also we threw out self-judgment, which later I thought we threw that out, which, because so like I'm pretty expressive, but I felt like, I really could allow myself to go there and like make the sounds. And so anyway, so I had this beautiful orgasmic flow of like, screaming all over the place, right? Like it was just this like cathartic orgasm, and then that crying came in,
because underneath the anger there's often sadness.
The sadness. And earlier today I was feeling upset. Our daughter was having a nap, and we were like trying to do our day 4 connect for our 4th time, and I was like, even though I wasn't really wanting to, like there was a part of me that was like, oh, we got to do our day 4, but I was like, now's our chance, she's sleeping, and I wanted to devote that time to our intimacy, and then this time, which she's being babysat right now, we wanted to do our work. But anyways, we got our intimacy in now, so I was frustrated earlier that we didn't get to do it, and I felt that block come up. I felt that block, that resistance that earlier that I was feeling, release as I was crying. So I was crying, and the crying, it was like all kinds of layers, like the crying about like, oh, we don't get to just do this anymore. Like, I feel like I don't get to move into my animal like this anymore. And like having a child, like it's not like I'm going to be like, hey, my little daughter, I'm like, oh, mama, nurture, oh. Right? So it's like been a very different archetype. So anyways, just all of that story to say that this is so healing, and my invitation through this video is that
do couples, a 5-day challenge.
Yeah, do the challenge and stick to it, and like, this is our 4th day, and this is the only day so far that we did that little sitting intention beforehand. Give yourself some time to get there, right? Like, if it feels weird to do it at first, but actually I find it easier to start that way.
I find it easier
way
too,
easier,
because
then we're giving ourselves.
There's no very little barrier to there's no resistance to starting. Like we could just be like, you want to just sit and eye gaze, and maybe that's intimidating to some people, but whatever it is that doesn't feel intimidating, you can start with like maybe it's just a quick little massage, or sitting down and just sharing something that you are grateful for. I don't know, something to get you there in a space together that you can now work with and move towards. And another piece that I think is important is that we both actually weren't really feeling like we wanted to make love today. Like it was
There's
oh,
other things to do.
we
Oh
want
my
to work on
gosh.
the business. We
Yeah.
make food. Like, there's a lot of excuses that can come
Yeah.
up, and I find that I'll speak for myself. I can often not put sex as a high enough priority, and afterwards, after we make love, I'm like, holy shit, why aren't we doing this more? And so what's great about the 5-day challenge is that now we're pushing ourselves, even though we're like, oh, da-da-da, excuses, this and that. Now we're still getting ourselves to that point. It's like likening it to a workout. Maybe you don't feel like doing a workout. You make up excuses. Oh, I'm tired. I had such a long day.
I just ate food.
We just ate food.
Something.
And then when you do the workout or the exercise afterwards, you're like, oh yeah, this actually feels really good, and your future self is going to thank you.
Totally.
And for us, our relationship is better for it, and that our future selves are going to thank us because already 4 days in, we're feeling much more connected.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh. Oh, we should have been making a video every day. Like, I feel like a different person right now. And back to that workout thing, I want to say there's something about it. Like, so I've been working out, like, for a long time now, and I do it through a dance fitness, and so it's easy for me, and it doesn't feel like workout. But there's an easy excuse to come up around sex. Like, oh, I don't really feel like it. And something about this, like, this is my body and your body, and like, we're not going to force each other or force ourselves on the other person, right? And there's this, I'm trying to think of those words, like, there's this sense of not feeling sexual, like that's a thing. Like, there's a thing, there's a way of being that, oh, I just don't feel sexual today. Do you know what I'm saying? There's this thing where it's like, well, I don't really feel sexual, right. and oh, he wants sex, but I'm not feeling it right now, and I don't think I should force myself, because that makes me feel like I'm doing it for him. That there's this,
I'm not feeling it right now.
I'm not feeling it, which is like such a good excuse. Hey, I'm not, and because I can tell him, yo, I'm not feeling it. But if it's my own body, my own workout, to tell myself, I'm not feeling to work out, I know that it's in me. Yeah? I know that the problem lies in me. But to say, oh, I don't feel like having sex with you, and it's almost like a thing between us, but no, it's actually in me. And it's a really good excuse. It was really easy to project it outwards on the relationship and to make it about the other person. Oh, I'm not attracted, or da-da-da. But no, none of that is true. And believe me, I was there. It's been almost 2 years that we've had our darling baby, and she's awesome, and we love being parents. But we miss our sexual connection. We got lost in being a parent. Like, it was like we didn't have sex for the first about 2 months. Most couples, start after 6 to 8 to 9 weeks or something. And I read that somewhere, and I was like, oh, well, maybe it's longer for me because, I'm strange or something. I had a cesarean, so I have to wait longer or something. But then, and then it was painful for me, super painful. And then that was a really good excuse. And then it just sort of like, we fell out of that connectedness. And then we, forget what sex feels like. And it's like, it doesn't feel important.
I was feeling at that time a little bit like I was losing hope. That we had such a wonderful connection, and we had a child, and there's this idea like, oh, you had a kid, like, things change afterwards. And that story about our relationship changing, and it did change, and at the same time, it doesn't mean that we can't have that passion even though we're parents now. And that was something that was blocking me in my mind, was feeling like this is forever changed, and that we will not have the same passion that we had before children, which is not true. It's just not true. And it's maybe another one of those excuses that, oh, life is so difficult, I don't want to try and put the effort in to make this relationship bring the passion back into the relationship.
And, like, any other thing, like working out, meditate, eating healthy, anything, you're going from that stopped position, and it's hardest to get going first. So like
building momentum.
The building momentum, like
energy.
I think that the more we keep this up, the easier it will be, because
sure.
it already is getting easier. Like, you know, the first little bit. So, and how it started for us is we went out on a date night. We got it. We made it so that, you know, our daughter was being babysat, and we're like, it was our first late night out in 2 years. Like, we went to a bar and danced, and I danced, you know, he's dancing, I'm dancing, and we're like looking at each other like, ooh, that person. And so then we came home and we were feeling super attracted, and so then, and did we plan it? No, we just had sex that one night, and then we're like, let's try to do a 5-day challenge.
From after we did.
Actually, no, it was not until the next day, the next morning, and we're like, let's do it now. Anyways, I think we decided the next morning, I think. So day 4, and yeah, and so the last thing I really want to drive home is sound. Use sound to heal, because...
Oh, yes. So powerful.
Oh, it's so good. And you can't always, like, if the baby's sleeping right next to you, if you're co-sleeping, which we are, and it's at night and she's there, we can't really be that loud. Like, I can't get as loud as I was now. But now, when she was gone, so I could feel like I could just be myself and like, So that was really, really good.
And if you can't do sounding, breathing, deep breathing, even humming can be helpful. And what I find is that tension can build, especially in the pubic area, that is like, oh, I just want to let it go. And Tamarah was talking about the tantra practices of moving it up, and sounding is a great way to help relax and move the energy up into the throat, into the heart, and out, so that the energy is moving and you're not letting it go and actually losing it. For men, when we do male ejaculation, we lose our energy instead of bringing it up and channeling it. So sounding is a great tool for that, because it's very it's physical. Like, you can feel the energy, you can focus your energy there, focus your attention there, and with your attention you are moving the energy to where the intention is.
Totally. Focus on, that's wherever our intention goes, our energy flows. Is that the same?
Where attention goes, energy flows. Yeah.
So we flow our energy up to our heart. That's where we want to go.
Yeah, so if we're making love and bringing attention into our heart,
to the head,
then we can deepen our love.
Yeah.
And that could be another
video. And then
video.
Holding each other after sex is really important. Holding each other and letting integrate. And then we made this video. So that's it. I feel pretty complete.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah. Awesome. We'll see you next time.